Thanks for tuning in to another video. Today I have the Samsung Watch 7 Ultra, which is a little expensive, but you do get a lot of features for it. And today I'm going to go over all the tips that I think are important and I think that most people would actually probably use. And during the video, I'll show you a lot of features that are available on this that you may not have known about. So stick around for the full video and I hope you get a lot of information out of it. So the first thing to do is there's gestures on this, which I love, because gestures just make things much easier and it gives you quick access to a lot of things, especially if your hands are not free. It makes life much easier. The first one is the knock knock. If you just put your hand into a fist like this and the screen has to be on, but then you just knock quick like this, I have it to open up the calculator and you can see how quick that went. And you can change this to open up any app that you want, which is really nice. Another gesture that I found really useful is you could just rotate back and forth like this, and that will dismiss an incoming call or dismiss an alert or a timer or a reminder, all the things like that. This is super handy, especially if your watch is set for audible and your hands are not free and you're in a crowded place and everyone's looking at you because your watch is ringing. All you do is go like this and it will turn it off. Okay, so let me show you how this works. I got a call coming in now, right? And that's it. So pretty cool that that is possible. And another gesture is a little pinch control. So if you just go like this with your hands and you just touch your fingers like that twice while you have the watch on, there's a lot of different things you can do with that. You could answer call, you could dismiss alerts, you control your music, you could open an app, take photos. You could also start and stop the stopwatch and the timers, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things you can do with that. And if you see a little icon right here like that, that means that you could just go like this and you can stop it. You see, and then you could go ahead and resume it just by clicking it like that, which works really well. Now, there's a couple of settings you got to do to turn these gestures on and off, and you could also customize that knock knock. So let me show you how to do that. First off, I got to tell you that to get this watch fully functional, you need 3 apps. This is a little unusual here. You got the Samsung Health, the Samsung Health Monitoring, and then you got the Gear app. So the Gear app is what we're going to be going through today, and I'll show you these other ones just a little bit, and we'll go into some details of what they offer. But you need 3 apps to get this going fully. So that's kind of a little crazy. Hopefully Samsung merges those in the future. But let me just show you the Gear app here. I'm going to go into the app and everything that this can do, but for right now, let me just show you the settings. So the settings on the watch and the app are going to be exactly the same, except for 1 or 2 little differences, but not much. So I'll just show you these together here. We got the modes on top. That is here. The only thing that's missing from this one is the connections because that has to deal with the watch. But then we got notifications, sounds and vibration, display, battery, all that kind of stuff. And if you just hit like display, again, it has the exact same menu options here on just about all of them. There's like 1 or 2 things that are missing from here or there, and I'll tell you about those as we go through the video. So for this one, we're going to go into buttons and gestures. So let's go into this. This is the buttons. We're going to get into that in a little bit here. But first, let me just scroll down here to the gestures. So this is the double pinch. You just turn it on, basically, and it'll tell you a tutorial about how to do it. You try it and it will tell you to repeat it, and if you get it right, then we'll move on. You can turn that on and off. Then we got the shake to dismiss. Same thing, it shows you how to use it, and you could turn it on or off. Then the knock knock. So this is the one that you can kind of customize. So if you click on this, you have it on here. Again, give you the tutorial of how to use it, but then you could select your option here, and you can select anything, which is really cool. A good one for this one might be if you use the Google Assistant a lot, you could use this as the wake up instead of having it listening to you all the time and killing your battery. This is a smartwatch and not a budget watch because you're able to run a bunch of different apps in the background. And they will, if you are running something in the background, you'll see a little icon here. So you'll have, the walkie man or a timer or a stopwatch or a camera, whatever you have, it will just be right there. Now you could just touch it and it will show you all the different apps that are running in the background. And then you can click on, which one you're using and all that kind of stuff. But if you have the icons there and there's a bunch of different apps running and you want to get into one quick, you just hit your pinch. And this will open them up real easy, and then you can pick which one you want to deal with. Okay, so again, I have a lot of tips and tricks that we're going to go through on this video, but most people use this watch for working out and fitness stuff. So let me show you some details on that. Let me get into a workout quick. Now, it's going to get my GPS lock here, but if I just hit settings, I could do a bunch of different things here. So I have no target right now, but I can change it to duration. Right, and then I could change the duration to whatever I want. Then I could also do distance, and I could also change the distance to whatever distance I want, or calories. So you could do those 3 different targets if you'd like, or I could just turn it off. But then another thing you could do is you could have a route here. So if you have a GPX file already downloaded on the phone, you just hit this and it will bring up the GPX file. And if you have several of them, it will bring up several of them here. And then you just click on this, and then the route, or if you're running or riding your bike or whatever, it'll show you the route and the map, and it'll show you how to get there and everything else. So that's really a nice feature. This is not available on the general Watch 7. You have to go into the Ultra for this. Then you also do get the trackback. Now, it's grayed out now because I didn't go anywhere. But if I did go somewhere, and you have to start your walk or your run from your original point, and then once you get far enough away, you can hit trackback, and if you get lost or something like that, it'll show you how to get back to your original starting point. But if you want to use this feature, you have to start an exercise, walking, running, whatever you want to do, and then go on your merry way. And then when you get lost or whatever, then you can hit the trackback. But you do have to start the exercise initially. Otherwise, it won't keep track of your original location. Now, a couple other things we can do here. We got the workout screen. And now this, I usually don't do this, but I actually watched a lot of videos about the Watch 7 Ultra, and no one really included this in the tips. So if you saw this in a bunch of other videos, let me know, but I didn't really see this. So let me show you how to do this. We're going to go into the workout screen. And now this is our data pages, right? And then we got the heart rate zone. We'll get to that in a second. But I got two data screens on this particular exercise. All the exercises will be slightly different, and the data points that are in there will be slightly different depending on what exercise you're doing. But if you just click on this, you could change all this stuff. So if you don't want duration, maybe you want something else. You want time, you want calories, heart rate, whatever you want in that spot, you could click it, and now it's there. See, it says steps there instead of duration. And then all these you can change if you want. Now that would be for this first screen. Now also, if you don't want two data screens, maybe you just want one data screen, you don't need all that extra information. Then you just toggle this off and it's gone. But if you have the other data screen right here, now again, you don't want average speed, you want something else, well, go ahead and pick whatever you want. Put it right in there. Now another thing you could do is change the layout. So my data screen here, you see there's like 5 little points there, and there's 5 little data points here. That's great, you get a lot of data, but then maybe it's hard to read. So you can do this, now you only got 3. Or if you want a lot of stuff, you can just hit the one on the end here. And now look at all the data points you have in here. Then all these data points you can change. When you save it, it will be saved just for this exercise. So if you're doing something different for running or a pool swim, you could have different data points on here if you'd like. Now if we scroll down here, now we're at the heart rate zone screen, you could just toggle that on or off if you want. Okay, now we got the split guide here. You can turn it on and off if you'd like. Then you can do it by distance or time. And again, you can change the time if you want. You could just, change it to whatever you want. Then you could have what info, so you toggle it on that you're going to hear the information. But now if you click on this, you could decide what information you want to hear, because sometimes it reads it and it takes like a minute to read through everything. Maybe you just want your heart rate or something like that. So you could just toggle that on and toggle all the other ones off. So of course you got the auto pause. If you just stop at a street light or something like that, and it'll pause your exercise. I don't like that feature, so I usually have it off. I don't know how it got on. Then the start, you could have it do it the countdown, or you could just manually start it if you want. Usually it's better to wait for the GPS to lock on though, and then it will, like I said, give you the countdown, lock on the GPS, and then start the exercise. And of course, again, if you don't like that audio guide, you could turn that off. This is one that you might like. This keeps the screen on while you're doing your workout. This is basically an issue because if you're working out and you just want to glance at your screen, you raise your wrist, but you're running and moving and it doesn't always register that you're raising your wrist right, and you just wanted to glance at your distance or heart rate or something like that, and you can't do it. Now you got to hit a button, turn it on, and that might be a pain. So with this one, you could always just toggle this on and the screen will stay on for the entire workout, because then you just see your information very quickly. But then, of course, this is going to be on for your entire exercise. So if you're exercising half an hour, 2 hours, the screen is on that whole time. So that's definitely going to be killing a lot of battery. Then the other one, which we can get into other spots, but we could do the exercise power saving here. You could turn this on or off, and you could just see what it limits here. And so, that might work for you or might not, but that's available there. And then, of course, just while we're in this menu, I wasn't going to go over it, but auto detect workouts. If you click on this, you could turn that on or off. These are all the exercises you could do. And then basically, if it detects that you're doing one of these things, it will go ahead and keep track of your exercise. It does use a little bit of battery because it's always looking for you to be doing something. So you can turn that on or off if you want. And then the alert. So after you're walking for 8 or 10 minutes, it will say, hey, you're going for a walk. Do you want me to track this? Then you could say yes or no. If you don't want to hear that alert, you can just toggle it off. So let me just start this workout here. And let's get into settings. Now, if you want to stay in a heart rate zone, we could turn this on. And then you can pick which heart rate zone you want to be in. And then you could also customize it and pick whatever you want. If you click on this, then you could do the minimum and the maximum, and then we could be done, and it will try to keep you in that zone. So that's a nice feature there. Okay, now if I just restart this workout, you'll hear the alert.
rate 83, below target zone.
So I picked the target and it's telling me it's below there. So now this would give me an alert. Hey, you got to move it a little bit and get up to where I want to be. So that's kind of a nice feature that you can set. So I'm going to go into how to customize all these buttons in a moment, but right now I'm just in the workout still, and I have the button here to open up my sports. So there's a lot of different sports there. So if we're just going to click on the multi-sport, we got 3 multi-sports that are already in there. Okay, now if you click on one of these, you could see here no targets, but you can click on it and then you could pick your target. So here, just like on before, you got duration and miles, and then we could do this just like all the other ones, the biking, same thing, duration or distance, and you could pick whatever you want. You can see right here, the no target is lit up, but if I click on this and hit done, now it says 30 minutes there, and I can click the targets for each one of these things and then finish that. Now, if I don't like these exercises, I could create my own if I want, so I just hit add. So this is going to be my own custom multi-sport workout. So I just add exercises, and you don't get access to all the exercises here, but if I want to do the bike indoor, I could add that. Okay, so now I got bike indoor, regular bike. Now I got one more exercise to add because you can only add 3. And again, these are your options here. So let me go into running now. We could add that. Now this is my triathlon that I put in there. And then I could save this if I want. And you saw the add exercises was grayed out because you can only add 3. And again, you could pick your targets just like you want, and you can go ahead and start, and that's your new multi-sport if you want to do that. But we could also go all the way to the other side, and we've got some other things we could do. We could edit this on the phone, and I'll show you that in a minute, just because you can't edit this at all on the watch, which is a weird thing. Some other watch companies let you do that, but I could add. So I could select an exercise to add, right? So this is all the exercises just listed out there. But if that's too many, because there's a lot to go through here, so if I just hit categories, then I can go through here and just find, maybe it's the water sports I'm interested in, and then it'll just give you the water sports, and then I could just add that exercise if I want to the list there. Then I could also create a new exercise. This is kind of nice because, you could label it whatever you want, and then basically you could have it, your different data to record here. You could list that stuff if you want, and then your category that you want to put in there. And this, you could save, maybe if you're just doing like outdoor gardening or something like that, and it doesn't fit into any specific exercise, but you want to keep track of, how long you did it and your heart rate and calories burned and all that kind of stuff. So you could add that very easily. Then you could also create your own workout routine here. So this is like in the beginning there that I just showed you, but on this one, you could add as many exercises as you want. And the same kind of thing here, we got the warm up, the cool down, and then we just add the exercises. Just like we did before, you could add a bunch of exercises in there. And then you could include breaks. You could also, repeat it as many times as you want. And then you could just call it whatever you want. If you just click on this, you can name it to whatever you want. So that's kind of a great feature that you could have if you want to do, 4 exercises in there, if you want to have some cool downs in there, or if you want to do like interval training where you're doing different things and you have little breaks in between. You could set all that up on here, and the watch will keep track of it and give you notification when you reach the target of that exercise that you were doing. So let me just show you here. We got all these workouts to go through, right? So we want to edit these, right? Because maybe there's a lot that I don't do. So I just click on this, and I'm going to edit it on the phone. So you got your favorites on top here. So those are the first 3. And then these are all the ones that I have listed there. I could move them just by hitting these little arrows, and I can kind of move it up and down, do whatever I want. And then also I can click on it and I could hide it. So now that won't be in my list anymore. I could still add it at any point, but I could just get rid of that, because if I'm never swimming in a pool, then I could just get rid of that, and then you don't have to go through 40 exercises to pick the one that you want. Then again, if you want to add any exercise back, you just hit this. Again, select the exercise. You can create a new exercise if you want, or you can create a new workout routine like we did before. So you can do that on the watch, but it's much easier to do on the phone, obviously. And that's really easy to do. Just hit that edit and you get right in here. Now, you could also download maps on this, and you could do it directly through Google. So if you just get in here and you have your location here, and if you just hit the map. So this will show you my map. I have to blur this out a little bit. So this is the map. I just zoomed in on there so I didn't have to blur it all out. But you could do this, and this will be the local map of where you are. And you could, if you have a GPX file, like I said, it will show you the track, and it will keep you on the route if you have it saved in there. And it's very easy to create GPX files. I did a video on that. I'll leave that right up here if you're interested in it. That was actually for the T-Rex 3, creating a GPX file and offline maps and all that kind of stuff. But the saving the GPX file would be the same for this one, or basically any watch. You're just getting the GPX file onto your phone, and then you could transfer it to your watch. This is when I went to Google Maps. The first time, this is just a screenshot. It just tells you my offline maps are going to download automatically on here. I zoomed this in a lot on the map so I didn't have to blur it out, but you get all the street names and everything else on there if you like, and you can zoom it in and out just by rotating back and forth here. But you can't route to a specific spot on the map. You can't just tap a spot and say, I'm going to route there. But you could use the Google Maps. I got to blur this out, but you could just search the Google Maps and you could just search, an address or a location or a local McDonald's or, whatever you want to do. And then you could walk or run or ride to that location. If you wanted the coordinates off the map, then you would have to create the GPX file, and then you'd be able to do that exact route, and the map will show you how to get there. And if you deviate from it, it will alert you and keep you on the track. Okay, so I'm in the settings on the Gear app right now, and I just wanted to show you, because this is not maybe a workout thing, but I want to show you how to get music on the watch, because you might be listening to music while you're working out, right? And you want to leave your phone at home. So we just got to scroll down here, get to Manage Content. You hit on this, and then Tracks on the Watch. This is what's on there, right? But I want to add some. I just click on this, and now this will, I can click on Tracks. So now this will load up all the tracks that I have up on my watch. And I could do by artist, whatever you want to do. And then if I just click on this, you can see Add to Watch. You just click on that and it adds. So super easy to do. If you want to do albums, like I said, you could just go through here, click on what you want. Little Kenny Rogers, right? That's okay. Unfortunately, not all of these are going to be supported. So I just wanted to show you, not every music file type is supported. This is all that's supported in there. So if you have any, lossless or FLAC files or stuff like that, that won't be able to be transferred to the watch. You could also download music from YouTube Music or, Spotify, things like that. But if you do lose or cancel the subscription to those services, then they'll no longer be available on the watch. So if you do have music that you already downloaded, you could transfer that pretty easily, and that's yours to keep. So remember here, the settings on the watch are exactly the same that are in the app, which is actually really nice that it's such a mirrored thing. Sometimes the companies have completely different app menus compared to the watch, and it's a little harder to figure out what's going on. But this is very easy to do, and it's much easier to see on the phone. So let me just show you a couple more things about notification. So notifications here, we just click on this. So obviously, first off, you want to choose your app notifications. You can have every app send a notification to your watch, which will kill your battery and probably drive you crazy because you'll be getting everything. So you don't want that. So click off the ones that you don't want to hear about, and that will take care of that problem, hopefully. Then you could also just, instead of hit all, you hit most recent or most frequent or something like that. If you're getting too many notifications from something that you're not interested in, you could just toggle that off. So there's a few features here on the notifications, but I'm interested in the advanced notifications. Now, this one, you want the new notification to show a little red dot on the watch face. So this way, if you do miss the initial alert, you'll see that red dot, and then you'll know you have a notification. So I usually toggle that on. You could also have the notifications read aloud if you want. Again, I don't usually like that. So with this, you show the details, so you get just a lot more details instead of just a simple, one-line notification on it, which is nice. So turn on the screen when I get a notification. I like this one because then when I get a notification and I hear the vibration or the chime, then I just look at my watch and the notification's already there. So then I can see immediately if I need to do something with it, if I need to respond to it or anything like that. So I do like that feature. So be careful with this one. If you turn this one on, that means every app that you download on your phone, you'll automatically send notifications to your watch. So there's probably a lot of apps that you put on your phone that you don't need notifications on your watch. So I would probably keep that off. Okay, now another important notification that is actually not in the notification settings, I'm going to show you. It's actually in advanced features. This one I feel is really important, so I have this turned on all the time. So disconnection alerts. So if you leave your phone somewhere, like in a restaurant, you get up and you leave, you're going to get an alert from your watch saying that your phone is no longer connected. And that's an important reminder for you to go back and retrieve your phone quickly before someone hopefully didn't steal it. So you click on this, and now you could have it none. You could disable this alert, which I don't think you should. You could have it sounds and vibration, it gives you the chirp and the sound. Or you could turn on the full screen alert and sound and vibration all at once. So hopefully something gets your attention. So let me just show you what that looks like if I click on it. And then if the other thing you want is if you don't want to get alerts at home. So if you set your home location here, when you go out to get the mail or something like that, you're not constantly getting a disconnect alert from your phone, because obviously you don't need to know about it then. Okay, so I just turned off the Bluetooth on my phone. So you're going to see what that disconnection alert looks like. And that's what you get. And again, I could turn the chime up louder, and so you could hear it more, but that's what you get for now. I just wanted to show you what the text looks like. Get images with no problems. WhatsApp will show you images with no problems, so that works out fine. And if you click on this and I want to respond to it, I got a bunch of different options here. Now this is suggested replies. I just sent this text initially, so there's no other details about it. Otherwise, you can get some AI responses that the watch generates based on your previous conversation. Obviously, you get all the quick responses that you can put in there. Then you could also just click on here. You got the emojis, obviously, but then you get a full keyboard. And of course, you could swipe and do all that if you want. Then you get word predictions on the top here. And again, you could just go ahead and send it if you want. So texting on this works absolutely perfectly. So let me just show you how to customize the buttons on here. You got the home button on top. You can't really see it there. You got the quick button in the middle, which is new for the Watch 7 Ultra. Then you got the back button down here. These are actually very flush and straight. So I'm always hitting down here to hit a button, and I'm kind of always missing it a little bit. But I'll get used to it eventually. So let me show you how to customize those. You got to go into Watch Settings, and then we got to scroll down here to Buttons and Gesture. The quick button, that's the orange button right here. These are your options. Not a lot, actually. This is it, which is kind of weird that this is all there is to it. I don't know why that is. I thought there was going to be a software update and they were going to add some functions on this, but you can't. So it's just these things right here. Then also, if you click the gear here, instead of opening up all those exercises, you could actually open up just one exercise that you use frequently instead of my exercises. Also, you can start the action with just a short press or the double press. Again, this is very flush here. I haven't had any problems, accidentally wrist pressing it. But if you're concerned about it, you can change it just from one quick press to requiring a double press to function. So that's up to you if you're having issues with it. So if you press and hold the button for 5 seconds right here, you'll get a super loud siren, which is really nice if you're lost and someone's trying to find you, but also if you're in an unsafe area or something like that, you have access to this. You just hold that button down for 5 seconds and it will definitely draw some attention to yourself. So that's a nice feature. If you don't like that, or if you're concerned that you might hit it by accident, just toggle it off. But it is very hard to push this button in here for 5 seconds and hold it accidentally, I think. Now we got the home button on top here. So the customization is a little limited here. So you got the home button, you got the double press. So this is what you got here for choices. Not everything, but a lot of choices that you can get to open up an app that you need. You also have the press and hold. This is very limited. I don't know why they don't have more options for this, but you either got Bixby, the Google Assistant, or the power off menu, which again, it definitely needs more options. I'm not sure why they do that. They've had that feature, limited feature on Samsung watches forever. So I don't know why they continue to do that. Speaking of limited features, we have the back button. That's the one down here, right? This is all I have, a short press. That's the only thing I can customize, which is kind of ridiculous, right? And something you can't customize at all, if you push and hold this button, it will open up Samsung Wallet. I can't change that to anything else. I can't change it to Google Wallet or anything else. So again, definitely limited on what you can do for the customization of these buttons. Samsung usually allows you to customize everything, but for some reason they don't like you to fumbling with the buttons. I'm not sure why. This is where all the gestures were that we went over before. Okay, now another nice feature that's really advanced for Samsung, especially if you have a Galaxy watch, is the modes. So if you click down here, this is the mode button right here. And if you click on it, these are the modes that I have set up right there. And that's a customized one that I just made. I'll show you that in a second. So it's actually right here on the top, and I just hit modes. Now, first off, you could sync it with your phone. So whatever mode your phone is in, it will automatically go to your watch. So that's nice. If it goes automatically into sleep mode or driving mode, it will automatically engage on your watch. Or at the theater mode, you'll silence your watch and your phone at the same time. So that's a really nice thing. And this is, again, that routine that I created right there. The only thing that the phone gives you that you can't do on the watch, it directs you to go here, which is the modes and routines. So this is a pretty powerful thing here. These are all the modes I have, right? You see modes, and this is what you got. Now I'll just click on one. This is sleep. Obviously, I got to turn it on and off manually, but if you see here, so I could turn it on manually, but then I could have it set to go off, but when I manually turn it off, or it could ask me, or I could have it set for 8 hours, or whatever I want. So it will ask me when you wake up in the morning, do you want to turn it off? That kind of thing. Or you can have it turned on automatically if you want. You could have a schedule for it. If you normally go to bed at the same time, you can click on that. Or you can just have it automatically engaged. So when the watch detects that you're sleeping, it just automatically engages the sleep mode, which is really nice. Then you could also add a condition here if you want. So all these conditions you could add to it. So maybe it has to detect you're sleeping and you have to be at your house for it to engage. Otherwise, if you're at a hotel or something like that, it doesn't engage. So this is a pretty advanced thing. So let me just get out of this. And then these are all the actions that you could have it do. So again, these are there. Then this is some ones that they suggest, but then I could add an action. So then all these things I can do. And if you just click accessibility, there's a lot of different things in each of these menus. So you could actually customize this quite a bit and have a lot of functions automatically engage whenever you want. So let's cancel this. And I'm just going to go back. Now, the modes are very nice, but the routines are even more powerful because you could set it even more. So I have one for at work. So this is my location at work. So anytime I get at work, yes, I don't make that much on YouTube. I actually still work full time, but working on that. So this is my location at work. So anytime I get there, automatically the watch will go into at work mode and it will do all these things that I want. So you can have it, turn off the Wi-Fi, have it turn off your audible charm. You could engage do not disturb if you want. You could have the screen dimmed. Any of these things you can engage automatically with the routine. And then again, these things will both sync with the watch. and this engages actually really well. So those are pretty advanced things that Samsung allows you to do with their products. Okay, now let's go into the battery function because, the Watch Ultra, Samsung says, gives you like 3 or 4 days of battery life, but it really doesn't. So, let's go through some stuff here. Okay, obviously this tells you how long I've been using the battery, the percentage here. The important thing here is power saving. So let me click on that. So this is what you lose if you click on the power saving. And, some of these are not too big a deal, so limit CPU performance, decrease the brightness, things like that. The big one that gets in the way of me using this is the wake up gesture. So if this, it will automatically turn that off. So anytime you look at your watch, you actually have to hit a button to turn it on, which I think is kind of stupid. So, but if you do want to turn on the power saving, you could turn that on. But if you scroll down here, you can also limit health benefits, and you could do that whether your power saving is on or off, because the power saving is off now, but I could still turn this on, and you can see what the things are limited here for the health features. Now, a lot of these things, if you're not using a lot of health features, you could just go ahead and be fine with this, but also keep in mind you're going to be losing a lot of sleep data, and it doesn't give you your energy score and things like that. So if that's not important to you, then go ahead and limit the features. You'll save some battery. If you like those kind of things, then, turn it off. The other thing to show here is apps that you've put to sleep, and if there's apps here that are using a lot of battery, then you can go ahead and put them to sleep or uninstall them. Usually if the apps are high percentage use, it's because you've actually been using them, so that's okay. But if you download a third-party app or something like that from Google, or you download a new watch face and you can see it's really killing the battery, then you might want to install that or something like that. But your regular apps here usually are just fine. It's just a matter of that you probably use them a lot. If you did download a new watch face or a new app or something like that, and you find that the watch is really not keeping up anymore, you could check here and see what's happening. And if it is killing your battery, then, like I said, you can put it to sleep, or you can uninstall it, or, whatever you want to do. So let's get into sounds, because there's a couple of things I want to show you on that. So if you put it on here on vibrate, again, you can change customize the vibration here from short to long and light and strong if you want to do that. But then also you can customize the pattern that you get. So the call vibration, you could have any of these patterns, which is really nice. So you could, if you feel like you're missing a lot of calls or something like that, you could change that if you want. And the notification vibration for basic stuff, you could, again, change that if you'd like. Then you also have the system vibration. Any of these things you could have toggled on or off if you want. Then if you change it to sound here, you get this extra feature, so you can have the vibration and the sound go off at the same time. Again, if you're missing alerts or notifications, you could toggle that on so you don't miss anything. So you could change the volume. You could change your ringtone if you want. And, notification sounds. You can play around with these and, pick something that you want if it's important to you. And then the system sounds. I don't really care for this, but if you, because I usually don't use analog watches actually, but if you do have an analog watch and you like to hear it ticking, you could turn it on right here. You could also turn it on so you get an hourly chime. So, on the hour, we'll get a little alert, just, if that helps you at all for whatever reason. And then again, with the system sounds, you could have these toggled on so that you get a sound when you are using these things, like, using the keyboard or something like that. You'll get a little audio chirp that you hit a key. So that's up to you if you like that or not. Okay, now this isn't in the sounds menu, but, maybe it should have been, but it's going to be in the general here. And it's going to be your touch bezel. So you could turn the vibration feedback on or off, which I really like. I like it on. So when you're moving it like this, you're actually getting a little click every time you're rotating it around. So that's kind of a nice feature, but if you don't like that, you could turn it off right here. Okay, so let's get into some navigation. So if you swipe down from the top here, these are the quick controls, and you got a whole bunch in here that you could add, and you can move these and do everything on the watch, and you could also do it on the phone. So let me just show you how to do it on the watch. You got to hit the plus sign, and then you could add these two. Those are the only two that I don't have on there. And then all these you could minus out if you want. If you could see that little minus sign there, you can get rid of them if you want. But then also you could just hold one and you can move it to a new location real easy. So very easy to adjust that. So you could swipe through the tiles here one at a time if you want. But if you want to go faster, you just swipe from one end quick and it will go through a whole bunch at one time. Or you could just kind of, use this, which is probably easier, but that's available. Now if you go to the end here and you want to adjust the tiles, you just hit plus. And then you could add any of the tiles that are in there, which is real easy. And if you want to move any of them, all you need to do is just hold one down. And then now you could minus any of them, obviously, but then you could just move it to a different location real easy like that. Then, of course, if I didn't tell you, hitting the home button takes you back to the home button once. If you hit the back button, it just goes back one menu item. Now, if you got the apps over here, and here are all the apps. Now, you can make a folder like this. And all you need to do is just take one, hold it, and then just scroll it onto another one. And now this is a new folder. Now you can type the name. It takes a little, there's a little delay there for some reason. But you could type the name, whatever you want there. We'll hit OK on that, right? And we could also change the colors if you hit this. and, pick whichever color that you want. Then you can also add any app that you want into this. Instead of dragging them all into this little folder, all you need to do is hit the plus sign here, and then you could add any app that you want into that little folder. And then if I do this, now that's my new folder, which is really cool. Now, before I show you how to do everything on the phone, if you want to get rid of this, all you do is tap on it, and then you just hold it and drag one of the apps outside of the folder, and now it's gone, and you just have to try not to get it into another folder. And it's in a new spot there, so now they're all separate. Okay, so now I'm in the Gear app, and let me just show you all this stuff here quick. This is the quick panel. Again, we could minus any of these. Then this is also nice. It gives you the description of what all these icons are. So if you're not sure what they are, there it is. Then if I want to move it, I could just do this and move it to a new location. And then if I want to add them, I just hit the plus right here and add it to there. I'm going to cancel that for now. The tiles, same thing. We got this all here. I could just swipe through them. I could minus them just by hitting that minus sign. And then if I want to move them, I could just go like this and then move it to a different spot if I want. Then if I want to add any, I got them down here, and I could just click it, and then it just gets added up there. And if I manage it, it might just make it a little easier for you to see it. That's up to you. I'm going to discard those changes. Now if I go into the app screen, so I've always loved this about the Samsung watches, is that the app screens are exactly the same, and you can see they're exactly the same spot here. And if you want to make a folder, you just do this. Then if you want to add an app, all you do is hit the plus sign. And if you want to change the color, you do it. And then we're done here. And I'm just looking at the watch here. I didn't tell you, but when you do turn on that notification for the red dot, anytime you have notifications, that's where the dot will appear right there, if you're wondering what the heck that thing was. Okay, so the other thing I want to show you is the watch faces. So obviously you could click on here, and then you could scroll and go through all of them if you want, right? But you could also customize this just by hitting this. And now you can, change the color. If you could see the top there, then I could, do the clock font, do the complications, all that kind of stuff. But it's kind of hard to do on this. You'd have to tap one of these complications and then, put a new complication in there if you want. So that's kind of a pain to do. So if you just do this, we got the watch face right here. I just hit customize. Now I have the same options here, the background, the clock font, the complication, all that kind of stuff, but it's just much easier to see here. And so if I have the complication, it tells me that's the first one. It's running, but I could change it to any of these if I want to. Complication 2 is right here, and again, I can change it to whatever I want. Just much easier to do on the phone than the watch, even though you can do it. So if you were having problems doing it on the watch, it's available on the app. And then if you have your watch faces here and you click up here, you could manage your favorites here. If you want to get rid of them, you just hit minus, and that just makes it so there's less up there. And if you went crazy and bought a bunch of watch faces, you can get rid of some of them if that was bothering you. Okay, another display item here is that Samsung made a really big deal about the night display on this, on the Watch 7 Ultra. It's only available on the Ultra. It's not available on the Watch 7. It's a nice feature, but it's really not all that helpful sometimes because it's only available on 2 watch faces. So you scroll down here, and it's only on these two, the one labeled Ultra. It's going to be on the Ultra Analog and the Simple Ultra. And then, if you go up here, you could customize it. Now we'll go into night mode. Click on that. And then basically you could have it off. You could turn it on all the time, or you could have it on auto. So if you're in a dark room, it will turn on automatically, or at night it will turn on automatically, which is, a little bit nice, but again, it's only available on 2 watch faces. So if you turn it on like this, I just got to save it. And, that's what that looks like. Again, it's kind of nice, but I wish it was available on more watch faces, but it's not. And I wish also I could maybe schedule it. That would have been a nice thing, too. I just reviewed the Amazfit T-Rex 3, and it had a lot more functions for the night mode that you could do with it than the Samsung, which is weird because Amazfit wasn't really making a big deal about it, but Samsung is. So if you like this night mode, great. But again, it's only available on 2 watch faces. So Samsung made such a big deal about it, but if you don't like those 2 watch faces, then you're out of luck. So there's a couple other features I want to show you in the display. So let me just click on here. Obviously, you got the brightness. We could all figure that stuff out. But here we got the raise wrist to wake and the touch screen to wake. So you could toggle these on and off if you want. This one I always keep on. The touch screen I always keep on because I like it. But if you wear long sleeve clothes or something like that and the screen is constantly being clicked on accidentally, then you might consider turning that off, because if it's being clicked on accidentally a lot throughout the day, you're going to be using up a lot of battery. So that's something that you could investigate. If you don't use it that much, you could toggle that feature off. Then if you want to save some battery, do the screen timeout. I wish there was more options here, but there's only these 3. And if you can get all the information on the watch face that you need in 15 seconds, then you can set it to that. If not, you can set it a little bit longer. Another thing that people might like is the font size. If you can't see everything really nice, then you can go ahead and make it bigger. Just keep in mind that you'll have less words on the screen at a time because obviously less will fit. And if you have super good eyesight, you could go down here and then you get this, cram a lot more stuff on the screen. The touch sensitivity, you could turn this on if you're wearing gloves. It will just make the screen more sensitive so that you could actually interact with it if you'd like. And then this one, I turn this one on. This just is when you charge your watch. It'll tell you if it's slow charging, or it'll tell you how long it's going to be taking until it's fully charged, which is just a nice feature that I like. Now, there's something that's been on the Samsung watches forever. It's the body composition. So if we go into Samsung Health here, I just got to scroll down into body composition. There it is. Now, you go ahead and measure it here. I haven't done this in a while, so you got to do this, and then I am going to lie about my height. Let's lie about my weight. Let's put me really down here, so maybe I get some good measurements. I don't know. This might make it worse. But then, of course, you got to go through here. It tells you how to measure it. And then we'll scroll through this quickly. You got to slide it up on your wrist a little bit, and then you put your 2 fingers on here. It's a little hard to do back here. And then it's going to give me a measurement. Okay, so if you look here, it just gives you, some information here, and it just tells you how you're doing. That's all red, but again, I did lie about some stuff, so hopefully it's not that bad normally. So that's available if you want to use that. So there's a couple more health features available here. You got to scroll up, and this is the Samsung Health Monitor. So this is the one that you have to add that is not on there by default. So if you click on this, this will do my ECG. Let me just show you there's some other options. You got sleep apnea and ECG. I'm in the United States, so they don't have the blood pressure on there, but if that was available, it would be here as well. And then for the ECG, you just do this and tap your finger on there, and then it'll tell you it's not a professional thing. So after I did that, this is all you get. But again, it detects the ECG. It has to be manual. It doesn't do this in the background. Again, the blood pressure will be available in certain countries, and the sleep apnea, again, that will work through the night automatically. So another thing I like to adjust with the Samsung Watch is the standing inactivity reminders. So if we click on here, we're going to go into settings. And we just got to go into the Samsung Health. And there's a couple of things you could do here. You can measure your heart rate and your stress, your sleep. You could adjust all these things. Pretty self-explanatory. And this is the this is activities to detect. You can turn those on and off. But this is the inactive time. So if you want, you could turn this on so that it will tell you, hey, you've been sitting for 50 minutes, so start getting up and stretch and walk around and do something. So you could turn that off, obviously, but you could, if you do turn it on, you could also schedule it so it's only on the weekdays, or, it's only, after lunch or something like that. So whatever you want to do with that, you could adjust. Okay, so let's get into some safety features that are on the watch. So one is, if you click over here, we got the flashlight, right? Everybody knows what the flashlight is. And if you click on here, and then you could, make it brighter and dimmer and all that kind of stuff. But if you just tap it, it will blink like this. So basically, I think this is a great feature. Again, I did a review recently, the Amazfit T-Rex 3, and it had this as a standard safety feature. So if you go running after sunset, this will activate. I think this is a great safety feature to keep you more visible. So hopefully, cars and things like that don't, run into you. So this is a nice feature that you can turn on after hours. It's just in the flashlight app. Okay, so let's get back into the Gear app here. And we got to get into the watch settings. And we're going to scroll down to safety and emergency. There's a bunch of stuff in here. This falls under the do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. But the medical information, you could put everything in here that you'd like. And then you could save this, and then even on the lock screen, this will show up. So that's a nice thing if you had, previous surgeries or allergies to medications or something like that. If you were ever in an accident, I think this would be helpful for the first responders to have. Then we got the emergency contacts. So you can add your contact, and you could add several in here. And then when you activate the SOS feature, which I'll show you how to do in a minute, it will send the information, your location, and an SOS text to your contacts that you have listed here. You just got to toggle this on. And then again, you can have your emergency contact show on the lock screen, which is probably helpful because if there was an accident or something, obviously that would be helpful for them to be able to be contacted. But also possibly if you lose your phone, someone might be honest and call that number and maybe you get your phone back. It probably happens once or twice. And then we got the emergency SOS. So let's click on this. Now for this one, you got to hit this button 5 times quickly, which is not easy to do and very hard to do accidentally, I think. But for some reason, if you're concerned you're going to hit it accidentally, you could have this turned on. So after you do the 5 quick presses, then you have to swipe on the screen to get it to actually engage. And then you could have an emergency number here to call. I'm in the United States, so I use the 911 there, but you could adjust it to the other things, and you could also put a custom number here. And it doesn't have to be an emergency number. It could be just your friend or something like that that you have in there to call. And then again, you can have your information shared with the contacts. So you can click it either here or on the other spot. Then we got the hard fault detection. So this is a good idea to turn this on. Now, when Samsung first introduced this feature, this was going off all the time for me. Well, not all the time, but several times when I was just riding my bike and, I wasn't falling and it was just going off, which was kind of annoying because it makes a blaring noise and you got to either toggle, dismiss, or, it contacts your emergency contact. So that is much better now and there's no, I haven't had any false positives on this. So you can click that on. And then again, if you're concerned that this might go off accidentally, you can make it so that you have to swipe it to activate it actually. And then you could have a countdown if you want. So if I turn this on, then it's not grayed out anymore. So I could click on the countdown and I could pick whichever time I want on there. So which is kind of a nice feature. So if this did go off accidentally, you have 10, 15, 20 seconds, whatever you want to do to swipe it away so that it doesn't activate the emergency broadcast there. And then these things you could have set on there. Again, you want your emergency number. Then also this is something that you could turn on or off, but you could have it so it's always engaged or if it's only when you're working out. So those are some options that you have. Then, of course, to share the information with the emergency contacts. Okay, so now I'm going to go through a couple of apps that have some extra features on it that you may not be aware of. So if you just scroll up here, I have everything in a folder here. And then if I click the timer. So, if you have a timer here, you could click it for 4 minutes or whatever like that. But then you could also... you saw the little finger tap there, so you could turn this on and off by just clicking your fingers. But then you can go here, and then you could set another timer if you want. And then again, another 5-minute timer or whatever. Then you can click here, and you could do another timer if you want. You could set it manually, and, you could pick whatever you want. And then we could have that going. Now, this is a great thing, but there's no way to actually name these so that if you have a bunch of timers, you have 3 timers, maybe you're cooking and you have one for, the chicken, one for the pasta, one you're flipping burgers, whatever, the timer's going to go off and, you're not going to know what the hell you were doing, right? So that's something of concern. But if you just click on here, it'll give you the list of the timers there. But again, you can't name any of them. So hopefully Samsung does change that in the future. Then this would be actually helpful. This is towards the end of the video here. I just have one more app that I, kind of like and I don't use very often, but when I do use it, it's kind of handy. So if we scroll down here, it's the voice memo. So if I click on this, and now you could just record your voice, you could just kind of just say whatever you want, blah, blah, and then there it's done. And that will automatically be transferred to the phone, which is kind of cool. But now if you scroll back over here, this is the standard mode. I could also do this. It'll actually change my voice to text. So instead of me actually having to listen to my voice menu, I could just see the text written down there. So you just go like this. Wow, this is a great feature. I hope it really works well. Well, let's see if that worked. See, that's kind of cool. And the last feature I just want to tell you about is if you lose your phone, right? So I have everything. I'm going to turn all the volume off on my phone here quick. So all the volume is off on my phone. And if you do lose your phone and you still have your watch on your wrist, that's good. But let's go over here and we just got to find the icon for the Find My Phone, which is right here. So I click on this. Again, so it's turning on the chime on my, and it gets really loud, but it's turning on the chime on my phone, even though I had the volume off to nothing and even the vibration off. It will still automatically turn on the chime, which is a great feature on this. Okay, so that about does it. That was the tips and tricks and some features for the Samsung Watch 7 Ultra. Hope that was helpful for you. Please leave it in the comments if it was, and tell me maybe which feature you like the most. And if I left anything out that you thought was critical, I'll leave it in the next video. So put it in the comments, I'd appreciate it. Also, I'd really love it if you subscribed and like and share the video. That really helps my channel grow, and I do appreciate it. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video. I have a bunch of other watch reviews coming out and comparisons and things like that. So stay tuned, turn on the notifications, and I'll see you soon.